What was that?
Don't be silly.
What was that?
Some orchestra at the end there.
Glass Onion from the Beatles' White Album.
Oh, I didn't know that at all.
Didn't you? You're not a big fan of the Beatles.
I like the Beatles. They're just so overrated.
I know what they look like.
They're so overrated, aren't they? Don't you think they're overrated?
Well, I suppose they influenced a lot of people because they were different at the time, weren't they?
They're all right. They're no Pistols. They're no Clash. They're not. You're laughing. It's the truth.
No, I agree.
Yeah, but where'd the Clash and the Pistols come from?
No, they don't come from there.
The Beatles would have influenced, wouldn't they?
Stand alone.
Stand alone.
The Clash came from the
wasn't
Beatles.
any of us farting, by the way. These chairs are all creaking, Toby. They were leaning over.
Yeah, I
there.
think it was this thing was creaking as well.
Neil, doesn't Neil look fantastically healthy? You look you're sparkling with health. Who would have thought it? Because last time I saw you were ashen. I thought, I'll give him 2 years.
Do you know what it is as well? It is that because I am a person who does like a bit of a lunch.
You do like a lunch.
But at the moment, I can't do any lunches because of this show.
You're in the matinee of Acorn Antiques, the big hit musical based, of course, on the successful comedy Strand that Julie Walters and Victoria Wood created many years ago.
Well read.
Well, I just made all that up. But it was a fabulous hit on TV, and of course, one of those ideas that you thought its time had come. Certainly, it should be in the West End. Boom, what a big hit it's been, hasn't it?
Yeah, it's been absolutely rammed out.
I bet it's fun to do as well.
Oh, it's a huge, huge laugh. I mean, every day. Of course, Julie's a bit naughty as well. You just catch her eye, and that's it. You're gone.
She's off.
Yeah, but it's really fun. There's 20 odd of us in it.
So it's a big old cast.
Yeah, yeah.
So you've got Julie Walters doing most performances, and then there's one or two she has off the Victoria Woods.
They call them bingo nights.
Right.
So on bingo nights, which is Monday and Wednesday matinee, Victoria comes in and plays Mrs. O, yeah.
Do you play bingo?
I have played bingo. I used to go, actually, a long time ago when I lived on the Isle of Dogs. We used to go through the old foot tunnel and go down to East Greenwich.
Now, my wife is looking for a bingo partner, but knowing your reputation, I'm not going to suggest you, right? I'm thinking, I love a bit of bingo as well.
Yeah, it's absolutely brilliant.
Well, why don't we have a Mecca night out?
Well, I'd love to do that because I used to go down there and I was absolutely amazed by the women who could have like 15 cards and manage to mark them all with the speed of the caller as well,
Well, women, multitasking, you see. They're capable of, while they were doing that, they were also probably cooking.
Absolutely. And
doing a bit of washing.
Compiling a shopping list.
Possibly knitting at the same time.
I'm worried about the children still locked under the stairs at home.
It's a nice night out, bingo.
Yeah, it's great.
a nice night out. We'll pass over the fact that kids were locked at home. Neil Morrissey, as we've already said, is in Acorn Antiques, the musical. Which theatre is that at?
It's at the Theatre Royal, Haymarket.
Didn't know because you've done a lot of theatre over the years, haven't you? I mean,
well, actually, not as much as some, but I suppose the last time I was on stage was about 3 years ago, Speed the Plough, and then before that was Passionate Woman, both those are the West End things, and very early on in my career, did a couple of plays up at the
For some reason, I thought you'd done more, but that's plenty. I mean, that's, certainly...
Well, when you think, there were 6 month runs, then it is, it works out to be a year and a half's worth of theatre.
There must be kind of exhausting, especially towards the end. You must think, I've sort of had enough now.
Yeah. Do you know, you go through different stages because as you're doing the rehearsal process, it's a bit like boot camp. Right. I mean, it literally is. You're really working tough all day, and suddenly you come onto the very pre-production week where you're doing all the technical work and all that, so it's going all day and all night. Right. Then all of a sudden you're really nervous and you're on, and then you sort of get into the whole process of being in a run. And then once you're into the run, you start kind of thinking about your shopping list while you're in the middle of speeches.
Well, because you must know it so well by then.
Yeah, absolutely. And any little foible, anything that goes wrong, it's... it just takes on a whole different manifestation then.
But it must be something whereby I would have thought part of the challenge then is keeping yourself in that, keeping yourself focused and interested in it when you're doing it. I mean, over and above enjoying,
Absolutely. That's part of the theatre thing is you have to sort of remember what you've done, what you've rehearsed, and keep that all pretty steady, but also give yourself the right amount of variation to keep it interesting for you, and therefore, I would suggest, the poor people who are watching it every night.
Now, you play Mrs. Overall in the show, I believe, is that correct? Which is the plum part to get.
It would be lovely, wouldn't it? Can you imagine me as Mrs. Overall?
Can't you switch one night and just all play different roles? I think that would be a fun night out for everyone.
That would be good, yeah. But I don't think it's possible. Not really feasible.
You played John, don't you? Is that right?
I played John. What happens is the character John is a director. He's a theatre director.
So it's a kind of noises off kind of thing where we see how the play's being made as well as enjoying the play.
Precisely that. What happens is the first off, I gather together the cast of Acorn Antiques in order to put on a show which I've written called Acorn Antiques, which is really to get the audience in to show how I wanted to show the world as the middle classes, the falling middle classes. Everything's black and white. It's an avant-garde piece of absolute. I'm trying not to swear.
Radical theatre, yeah.
Radical theatre, yeah. Demonstrating the middle classes to be the evil, horrible, snidey git
that this no doubt middle class director believes them to be. Yeah.
Absolutely, and of everyone he emulates, of all the dark.
It's a clever idea. I mean, she's obviously a hugely talented writer, but it's a clever idea and a way way of actually giving it a whole new dimension, as opposed to just taking it from the TV, which would have probably felt a bit odd.
Absolutely, because by the time you hit the second half, then everyone's really waiting to see the original Acorn Antiques back again. Because by the end of the first half, her dog wins the lottery. And therefore she's able to finance a big West End production in the manner with which she wants to do it.
She wanted to be. Absolutely. Do you get to sing and dance as well? Because I know the ladies do, obviously.
Yeah, I do. I've got one number in the second half where I'm
How's that go for you, Neil? Is that something you look forward to every day?
Well, actually, it's great because I've got 3 backing chicks and I go on with Celia and Josie Lawrence.
3 backing chicks? Come on, it's the year 2005, young man.
They still like being called chicks.
Okay.
Yeah, in fact, they like being called other things.
I'm shocked.
But don't be shocked. It's just you've just settled down into your little married life. You don't listen to Radio 1 anymore or anything, you know.
Yeah, like you do. Like you understand what DJ Spoonie's playing at.
I haven't got a clue who he is.
And that's the new one from who? What's that they just made? Noise.
DJs are actually calling themselves after pieces of cutlery now.
Of course they are. There's DJ Spoonie, and he's part. If you play Happy Families, you get all the Spoonies. It fits in. He was in the boxing thing, wasn't he? Did they do that yet, or was that this Monday?
The boxing or the wrestling?
The boxing. Him against Mark Bosnich.
Oh,
was it last Monday?
What, celebrity boxing?
Last night, apparently.
Last night. Did he win? Who won?
Someone's going to fight Mark Bosnich.
Go like that for Spoonie. We don't know. Yeah, Mark Bosnich fought DJ Spoonie on a BBC 3 boxing event last night.
Hang on, is DJ Spoonie, is he an ex-athlete as well, though?
I've no idea, but with a name like Spoonie, I'm not going to argue with him.
Yeah, I've got a feeling that this guy is an ex-athlete for some reason.
Well,
I don't know why that...
Bosnich, I believe, was an ex-athlete.
Yeah, Bosnich was, yeah, but the other guy, Spoonie, isn't he, DJ Spoonie was he a decathlete or something?
Oh, I don't know, never mind that. Let's not
get on the
religion
internet.
Into it.
Get on the internet, they'll have a look.
So the song you've got 3 young women, strong young women.
3 strong young fillies.
What's the song?
In the second half, I play Tony, who's a credit crony. Right. So in other words, I lend the Acorn Antiques people money in order to acquire their shop.
Okay.
So I sing a song about lending them the money, really. It's called the Should Have Read the Old Small Print.
Should have read the old small print. That sounds so much like a musical number from a play.
It does, and it starts...
Should have read the old small print.
Do you know what? You're so not far off.
But it sounds great fun. It must be really, I would have thought, an entertaining experience, because it's not like you're going out there doing heavyweight drama every night.
Absolutely right.
Piece off your soul. You're actually having fun as well.
Yeah, and sort of with the audience, with the way they get so wound up and so jazzed up by the end of it, you know, it's a lot of fun to have that reaction, because on stage you can let that happen as well. Because things do go wrong, because it's Acorn Antiques. You know, that's the whole theme of the piece. But if anything genuinely goes wrong, the audience will never know.
Bring it in. Is it more fun doing that in terms of getting a reaction? Because when you do TV work or film work, obviously you're kind of in a vacuum.
Yeah.
You don't know how the audience is going to respond. You don't really know how it's going to look when it's finished, because there are so many other people who have a hand in that. Here, what you do on stage, I guess, that's what's being served up, and you can immediately get that response. That must be lovely. Every
night is individual. You can never do the same show twice, and that's brilliant. And at the very end, of course, you know, the response is absolutely immediate and right there, and it rocks your soul, man. It's good.
What do you do afterwards? Do you knowing you straight home to bed, cup of tea?
Yeah, straight home to bed. Well, you know, I've got a club in Covent Garden now.
You've just opened a club. I heard about this.
Yeah. You haven't been down there yet.
Well, I don't go out. I don't go to any club.
Well, it's open all day. It's open for breakfast too.
I don't go out for breakfast either. I've got a house. Why would I want to go out for breakfast?
I know, it's true. I had breakfast in my house
today. I've got
a
kitchen table.
One night you might want to take your wife out for a romantic dinner, and I can sort you out.
What is the name of your club?
It's called Hurst House London.
This is a private members club, isn't it?
Yeah, private members club, because we've got the one, the hotel down in Wales.
So you're in business with Jeff Hurst? Well, why is it called Hurst House?
Hurst House, because the hotel in Wales has been called Hurst House since the 16th century.
Oh, blimey, here we go, look. He comes on here to talk about one thing, and next thing he's plugging a hotel.
Hey, you asked me, didn't you? Or did I bring that up?
You put it up.
Sorry,
I'm happy to ask you, but it doesn't make sense why it's called Jeff Hurst House. Call it Jeff Cape's house.
Hurst House, which isn't a Welsh name either, and you'd thought if it was called that since the 16th century.
But this is a sort of successful thing for you now, isn't it? I mean, because I know the place in Wales does very well.
Yeah.
This here, presumably, is it doing well yet?
Yeah, it's doing really well. It's beautiful. It's petite and gorgeous. You know?
Isn't it a bit of a worry, though, someone who likes to drink running an establishment which serves drink? Are you ever concerned?
Yeah, but I'm not I'm not the child of the 90s that I used to be.
You're not a lost soul anymore.
No, not a lost soul anymore.
Not that you ever really were lost, but certainly you were perhaps a little willful.
Yeah, exactly. Or should we say I was easily led?
Easily led, and unfortunately not too scared to follow.
Yeah, I think you probably hit the nail on the head.
That's what always held me back. I was easily led, but I was thinking, I'm scared.
Yeah, don't give me that innocent I was scared look.
Let's move on. So that's going really well for you then. I'm really pleased, because that's great to have something like that as well, because when you want to start calming down, you do need something which is sort of looks after itself.
Also, if you think, an actor's life really, between jobs, you see actors who are out of work, it is probably the most boring thing on earth, sitting at home doing absolutely nothing. So for me, it's a question of keeping occupied as well, And plus, with the production company, keeping in touch with what goes on out there beyond what scripts you get sent to you, personally. So it's
need
nice
to develop your own material as well,
Yeah, that kind of thing. Not necessarily develop my own material, but develop material for other people, just to be on the other side a little bit. And I can't stand getting bored. I would crumble,
I can't imagine you being bored for too long, though.
Well, because that's what the long lunches were about, really, was let's do something interesting.
Let's do it and see where it goes, because it's exciting afterwards.
Absolutely.
I know a lot of men who fall into that. So Hurst House is the name of the place, and is it a hotel you've got, or is it just a bar?
In Wales, it's a hotel restaurant, and we've got 2 pubs as well there.
I like the idea of a hotel restaurant. I can see myself as a hotelier.
Yeah.
I could see
it's lovely. You put your own style on it, obviously.
+4s when you meet people at the door with the bags.
You can do that if you like.
It'd be nice, wouldn't it? A cravat.
Yeah.
Are there any strict rules there? Do you have to wear a jacket for dinner?
No, we say you can wear what you want, just bring your wallet.
You don't, that's wrong. You want to have strict dress code. Let's stop the crumbling values that this country has fallen prey to.
No, we fell prey to the whole uniformed stuffiness of ties and collars and yes sir, no sir.
A smart, upright gentleman, him coming in wearing a T-shirt.
It's all right for you. You can go parading around the corridors of the BBC dressed like a 1980s Lawrence Llewellyn-Bowen if you like, but I prefer to have my finger on the pulse.
Oh, well, I don't know whether that's the pulse that we care to share. That's all I'm saying, all right? You want to drag the nation down to chavdom? You go ahead, Morrissey, and let's see how history regards us both.
Yeah, okay,
we are but dust.
Which we will be.
Speaking briefly again about Acorn Antiques, Acorn Antiques, the musical, that's a tough one for me. Do people come along dressed as the characters ever?
No, they haven't done yet, but a lot of people have worn rubber gloves. The iconic yellow rubber gloves.
Just customs official wanted to catch up with you. You got away from us once, Morrissey, never again. Because I'd love to see that. That would be a great night, having them all turned up as Mrs. Oval and, Zimmer flames ahoy.
Yeah, I wonder if it would. It hasn't been that long a run, you see. It's only going to be a 16-week run.
It's only on until the 21st of May, so if you can, I imagine there's only a handful of tickets left, I would have thought.
Yeah, and they really are like rocking hen's teeth.
Like rocking horses?
You're going to say rocking horse manure.
I see.
But it was that chemical form.
You suddenly got very genteel on us.
I know.
Which is unlike you. There you go. It's on until the 21st of May, Acorn Antiques, the musical, the Theatre Royal Haymarket. You've only got until then to see it with Neil in, to see it with Victoria, or indeed with Julie Walters.
Yeah, and Celia Imrie and Duncan Preston.
as well. Wow, what a great
And
cast.
Josie Lawrence. And Sally Ann Triplett as well, who's a West End diva. She's absolutely brilliant.
Sally Ann Triplett, is that a real name?
Yeah, it really is.
Sally Ann Triplett.
I hope she's listening. She'll love you.
Sally Ann Triplett.
You're getting a letter now.
That's not a real name.
It is a real name.
Sally Ann Triplett's not a real name.
It is.
There's no such thing as Sally Ann Triplett.
She's a genius singer.
I'm sure she is, but what's your real name? I bet her real name is something like, I don't know, something like Carol Day, something really boring. Not that any offence to Carol Day is out there, but
Yeah, there you go.
It's not like boring, it's like Fiona or Chrissy. 10 a penny names, and she has to go, Sally Ann Triplett.
That's a good one, isn't it?
I think you should ostracise her this evening.
Well, she'll probably be listening now,
Send her to Coventry until she tells you what her real name is. We've got to go to the news.
We've got to go.
Neil, always
Cheers,
lovely
mate.
to see you. Good luck with the remainder of the run, and good luck with all your various
Well, let us know if you want to
projects.
come.
I would like to come. 88 to 91 FM. This is Radio 2 from the BBC.